Hello and welcome back. So we've made it to the final exercise of the second exercise set, which is number 8. As I said, this is the second set of exercises that you can see here in the sheet. Now, this is a challenge exercise, okay? So slightly more difficult than what we've done before, but I would argue that if you know your truth tables, you could do this very, very quickly. Very quickly indeed. Okay, so let's have a look. Study the partially completed truth table below. And what I'll do is I'll just push it down. Oh dear. I'll push it down to the next page just so it's all on one page for you. It's a truth table, but there's the difference to what we've seen before is that it has 3 inputs instead of 2. That's very new. We did not look at something like this before. We've seen Boolean operators like or and with 2 inputs, A and B, but not a third input, C. And so I've got A, B, and C. A and the result of A and B already filled out, and we're already familiar with A and B. It's only going to be true when both A and B are true, like they are in these 2 rows here. I've got every combination of A, B, C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 combinations. For those of you who like maths out there, that's 2 to the 3, 2 times 2 times 2. 2 to the 3, it'll give you the 2 to the n. If there's n inputs, 2 to the n will give you the maximum number of combinations you can have. So we have 8 combinations here for all 3 values. And if you're also if any of you know anything about binary, we're actually counting in binary here from 0 to 8. Anyway, now let's keep it simple. So we've got the 2. You can even ignore column C for the moment and ignore this column. If you look at these 2 columns here and this column, you'll see the expected outputs for our variables. We know that and A and B will only be true whenever the 2 inputs A and B are true. It just so happens in this truth table where we have 3 inputs, there are 2 rows here where A and B are both true. So we get true outputted twice here. What we need to fill in is what I've got here is A and B and C. So it's the logical A and B and C. Now let's have a look at the description. This is the truth table for the AND Boolean operator that we have seen before, but with a third input, C. This is therefore the truth table for A and B and C. Your task is to fill out the 5th column that is empty. What should the true-false value be on each row? There are different ways of working this out. You could try creating this in Python code using the logic.ly circuit simulator, or, and this is what I'm going to do here because I think it's the simplest and the fastest, just perform a simple Boolean AND operation on the values in columns 3 and 4. These 2. You already know the AND truth table for 2 inputs. And that's why I think it's very simple and very quick. Or even quicker, so I have a hint, of course, or the simplest possible way to work this out, we call that for the Boolean AND to be true, for any number of inputs, every input must be true. That's probably the fastest way of doing it. So let's do this first, and then let's backtrack and see if we get the same answer. So you're essentially going to see 2 techniques. So I've said that the simplest possible way of working this out is I should only have a true output if every single input is true. So that makes the thing very simple because that's only true in one case. Only the very last row do we have A as true, B as true, and C is true. So this one will be true. And that essentially means that we've got true, true, false, true, false, true, true, false, false. All these other ones have a false in them. So they cannot possibly, so A and B and C cannot possibly be true in any single one of those rows. That's the simplest way of working this out. Just use the rules. The rules will not fail you, as they were derived by Professor Boole in Queen's College Cork a long time ago. So that's the simple rule. That's how you'll work it out very quickly. Now, I will say though, that's a bit boring. That's fine. It's completely correct, and it's probably the way I would do it myself because I've been doing these kind of things for a long time. But from a teaching perspective, this is an insufficient way, as far as I'm concerned. Oops, to understand what's going on here. So we're going to wipe out this. We're going to wipe out all of these again. And we're going to do a different take on this and see if we get the same answer, okay? We're learning here, so I want us to work this out using the Boolean logic rules that we have learned. Okay, so I'm going to take all these out again, and we're going to go back to the very first row this time and start from scratch. We're not going to do it in Python. We're not going to use the logic simulator. We're just going to do the third option here. Just perform a Boolean AND operation on the value in columns 3 and 4. You already know the truth table for the two inputs. So that's these two columns here. If we just perform an AND on these values, we should get the same answer that we just saw a moment ago. Notice the way I've put brackets around this one, A and B. So we already have A and B here. So I've already done A and B for you. There's A, there's B, and here's A and B. So if you take the output of A and B and then just AND it once again with C, we should get the answer, right? So that's why I have these in brackets here. That's the first operation we should perform, the A and B. And whatever result we get from that, we will AND the result with C. And I've already done A and B for you. So let's have a look. Let's look at the first row. So that means we can ignore these two rows here, or these two columns, and just focus on these ones. So A and B and C. So let's look at A and B first. So we have false here and false here. So we know that has to be false. That can only be true if both inputs are true. Then on the next one, we have A and B is false and true, and C is true. So that has to be false as well because they're not both true. On the next one, we have A and B is false and C is also false. So that absolutely has to be false. The next one then we have A and B is false and C is true. So again, they're not both true, so it must be false. Right. Then the next one, two falses again. A and B is false and C is false, so they must be false too. Okay. Now A and B, so again, A and B is false here and C is true. So that must also be false. On the second last one, the penultimate row, A and B is true, but C is false, so that must also be false. And then in the last row, we have A and B is true, and we have C is true. So they're both true, so that means we have true here as well. And that is exactly the same result we came up with when we did our short-handed trick a few minutes ago. So I would argue if you know your rules, that's actually a very simple operation to complete to fill out that table. And that is the answer. So it's very simple for AND because we'll only ever get a true no matter how many input variables you have, A, B, C, D, E, F, so on, you'll only ever get true if they're all true. And if you have multiple variables that you need to compute the truth value for, then it's very simple. You don't try and AND them all together at once, A and B and C. Break them up into pairs, break them down, perform the logical operations on smaller sets of them, like A and B here, and then you can apply another logical operation to the result of the smaller operation. You just break it down like you do in mathematics. It's actually very simple. There we go, and that is the solution to challenge exercise number 8. And with that, that is the end of all of the solution videos for exercise set number 2. Again, I hope you participated and carried out the exercises yourself. That's how you learn. And I hope you got some fun out of them as well, as I did, showing you how to do them. So thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next set of videos.